Look, Islam is going to be a problem in that division. You know, you got Morales that wants to fight. Like, I know Sean Brady did that, but I mean, Islam's grabbing a hold of that leg. Islam doesn't take any risk. He's grabbing a hold of Morales' leg straight away. And then we're going to see how good his grappling is, 100%. Who's going to give Islam problems?
Volk at 170.
Get me at 170.
Yeah,
Get me at 170.
We'll get you back on the Maccas.
I did kind of think that maybe Craig Jones would be a little bit of that cheat code for Jack Della to maybe help him with his ground game, but that just wasn't the case. Islam just shut him down. I mean, maybe Islam's telling Craig Jones, maybe you come to 2-3 years to Dagestan and forget about it, you know? But nonetheless, to see the dominance from Islam, knowing that there is a slew of contenders that he's going to have to deal with at 170 pounds, to me, the welterweight division just became the most exciting division in the UFC.
And I was saying to Habib, I've been in the fight business since I was 20 years old, and all I ever hear is, this guy's going to be a world champion, this guy's going to do this guy's going to do that. Everybody says the same thing, and almost nobody ever does or makes it. His father said, Habib will go in and dominate, and he'll have a run, and when he's done, and then Islam will come in behind him and do the same. And, you know, holy shit, it played out exactly the way his father said, which is pretty amazing.
This guy's coming up 15 pounds, and to do what he did to the current champion is pretty damn impressive.
Yeah.
Because you had the flip of the coin, right? In the co-main event, it was the complete opposite. You had someone who was at that weight class that dominated the smaller fighter. So I felt like everyone was like, oh, Islam just doing what he normally does. Yeah, doing it to a guy who's 15 pounds heavier, not really 15 pounds heavier, but has been used to fighting 15 pounds heavier and is the current champion.
Islam Makhachev did a good job of stifling, putting JDM in the mud. Each time JDM tried to get to a post to get back to the feet to wrestle, Islam Makhachev would attack that post, keeping JDM on his back.
I felt like Islam could have Islam broke him, but I felt like Islam could have finished him, and particularly, you know, he had a couple was it Comoros Americanas later in every, like, fourth and the fifth round. I think if they were to ever fight again, I think Islam now knows where he stands. I think he'd finish him.
No injury, nothing. I don't feel any pains. I'm ready. Who is gonna be next? Let's do this, and I will make it easy. And today I show you, Jake's one of the best in this game. You know, one of the hardest opponent. That's why I prepare so hard to make this easy, and this is our plan, and I did exactly. He defends. I try to do some chokes, try to make Kimura, but he defends very well. But I make this easy because I training so hard.
I want to be part of this. I want to tell a good job and pat him on the back, and he comes into a new division and he leaves there with the belt. I feel critical right now. I feel like Jack underperformed. We were 10 minutes into that fight. I turned to the guys next to me. I said, Jack hasn't thrown a punch yet. They actually go online and they look it up. 20 minutes into this fight, he had thrown a total of 31 punches. Of those 31, only 20 of them landed, and most of these were to the body. And I'm only sharing with you, I was just waiting for Jack to get going. It was the same position, rinse and repeat. I appreciate a good double leg. The other side of that is I learned it in my first 5 minutes of wrestling practice. The entire fight took place in side control. That's a problem, in my opinion. In my opinion, the commissions have got to look at this.
If you thought the Bulgarian versus Del Val fight was crazy rigged, investigations need to be had. You're telling me that JDM stuffed all Belal's takedowns and then just can't stuff one against Makhachev? Is that what you're telling me? That's what you're trying to get across to me? That for some reason, Dylan Dennis had a more entertaining fight and showing than JDM did against Makhachev. I'm not saying it's rigged, because they'd make it more fucking fun than that if they rigged it. There's no way they'd script it to go like that, with Makhachev getting a takedown a minute into every round and spending 4 minutes in half guard on top, threatening a dash choke so that he didn't get stood up.
Because we're not casuals, Kamaru. Like, we understand what he did. You know what I mean? And particularly to solidify, to become a double champ, to become the 11th double champ in UFC history. What did he do? He started with the striking. He would kick the leg, And then right around that 3-minute mark, boom, he was getting takedowns. If you notice, every single round he did that. He hurt JDM with that leg kick. I mean, JDM was pretty much broken.
Say what you want about Jack and the odds, the odds makers had. I didn't. I thought that fight was going to be much, much tougher for Islam. And Jack's a tough kid and gritty, and he beat Belal, and Belal's a nightmare for a lot of people. I thought it was going to be a lot closer than it was. So hats off to Islam for dominating.
I feel good, I feel that Islam proved that he belongs at number one pound for pound, and I think a lot of people thought he was, but now he's solidified that. I don't think there should be any question on who the pound for pound greatest right now is, and that's him. And at the rate he's going, if he continues to go, he may very well end up being pound for pound the greatest of all time. But let's wait to see how we do in our next few fights before we jump that gun, right?
We knew Islam was going to go out there and try to out-wrestle him. That's what he did. He was very successful. He took him down every single round, and the longer the fight went, the easier the takedowns became. He was getting taken down. He was getting controlled. He did do a good job of not giving up, okay? Because, listen, Islam is a tremendous fighter, okay? He's got a record now of 28-1. He now ties Anderson Silva for a 16-fight win streak.
The next fight it's gotta be Ilia. Ilia's got to go out there and beat Justin Gaethje. He's got to go out there and beat Patty. Whoever he beats, he's got to go out there and get the job done. But Ilia, I'm so curious if Islam can do this to Ilia. Ilia, he matches that skill set, and I just feel like it would be a lot closer of a fight than Jack versus Islam was. That's the fight you have to make. That's the fight that should have made this time, but they didn't. But that's okay. Islam got the job done.
Guys, I remember Islam coming into the gym as a very young kid, and you knew he had something. You knew he was special. You knew that he could be a champion. But when you watch a guy truly reach the level, it's gratifying for someone that cares about you or cares about them. Islam's a great guy, and he deserves everything that he gets because he's earned it with hard work, commitment, everything. He would leave his family to come to California in the United States to prepare. And he's doing the same things now as what I imagine the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. Because now that he's won a belt in the second division, I expect him and Ilia to flip again in this week's rankings.
Islam's cardio was in question, just him moving up. How was he going to go throughout the thing? It seemed like, even though Islam was like being very physical to get these takedowns, Jack was losing that battle of attrition, being on his back. He had grimaces the entire time. The pressure of Islam must be something crazy. Every time Islam would take Jack down, Jack was just getting gassed defending the submission attempts, trying to move him off him. And then when they got back to their feet or started the round again, his jabs just didn't have the pop and crispness that they needed to have. Whereas Islam looked much the same.
Come on, 19 minutes of control time. I mean, the only other really right now in the top in that welterweight.
How long it was? Was it 19 minutes? Jesus.
Yeah.
Christ.
The only other time I've seen that long right now in that welterweight division with these top guys is I would say my fight versus Buckley. We have to go in and this is how you stifle some of these new guys, because I feel like there's a lot of, not a lot, but there's a JDM. There's a few of JDMs in the welterweight division. Carlos Prates, Morales, we haven't seen these guys go down to the ground. There's a few guys like that are tough, gritty, heavy, hard-hitting strikers. But there is a way to potentially neutralize that striking. And Islam did just that, man. 19 minutes of control time in a championship fight, a division up.
But Islam did really good on the feet as well. He implemented that calf kick very early, mixing it up. Habib didn't let him get out of the game plan. He was yelling at him, do not strike, get your takedowns in, right? You get into those modes sometimes where your striking's landing, you're looking good, you're hurting him on the feet, and then you want to go all on the feet. Islam did an amazing job in there, sticking to it, and then winning. Team Khabib, Javier Mendez, they get their first double champ in that team, and that's been one of the most dominant teams in UFC history. So that's legendary status. The people out here are like, oh, you're not happy, you're this, you're that. Like, somebody else's success doesn't mean it's my failure.
I was very happy for him and Team Khabib, because, he did an unbelievable job. I've always said that Islam's the easiest guy to train because you just tell him what you want and he goes out and does it. And that's exactly what he did when Khabib and I wanted him to do what we wanted him to do. He went and did it.
I think it just adds to the confidence, the belief that, you're not going to get beat, that you won't allow yourself to get beat. You can be dominant at a smaller weight class. And now, if anything, he's going to look for all the positives. He's going to say, now I'm going to be even better because I can eat. I don't have to make those drastic weight cuts anymore. I can be even stronger. I can be, in his mind as a champion, he's thinking horizon. He's thinking, there's even going to be more of a horizon. There's going to be greater things in front of me because now I'm only moving into my peak.
Yeah.
I'm not stagnated by weight. How great can I be? I think that's kind of would be the mentality of a champion like him.
Yeah, I feel better today. I feel like I never feel before, I feel more power, more confident when I strike, when I move, I see all his punches and I feel much better today. I feel I can control anyone in the ground and I never feel like that, sure. I feel I'm ready to fight anyone, in the lightweight it's so difficult to cut weight, to recover well, to show you good performance, but today I feel this is my weight division and I'm gonna defend my belt many times more.
I now no longer believe he has an appetite for moving back down to 155 pounds. When he talked about being able to wrestle for 25 minutes, right? I think it's almost paralyzing for him being in there at lightweight when he can't wrestle Dustin Poirier for 25 minutes because he feels like his gas tank isn't there. So maybe he should have been here all along. Certainly there are going to be some big men that he's going to have to contend with, a lot of long strikers with 80-inch reaches, but this guy's going to be a 3-1 favorite against most of them, I would think.
Honestly, this was kind of easy for him. Easy is not quite the right word, but because the preparation is hard and it makes them very, very prepared. But in terms of the adversity that he faced in this contest, this is not even his hardest UFC fight. Dude, he took way more damage against Dustin Poirier. Way more. Dude, Islam Makhachev is a fucking marvel.
And Jack really never got going on his feet. He only is successful when he punches in combinations, when he's switching stances mid-combination, when he's going to the body. He did absolutely none of that. So I do have a hard time being super critical of Islam because Jack didn't force him to have to get into second gear. So why would you?
I thought there was going to be a lot more scrambling ability from Jack. I think a lot of us did, especially based on how well he performed against former champion Belal Muhammad. He was able to create space. He got taken down, was able to get up. And more importantly, in those scrambles, he was able to inflict tons of damage to Belal. And that only increased as the rounds went on, where he showed less ability to move, got shut down more as this fight went on, and really was just not able to get any damage off when he was on the feet at all. And credit for that not only goes to Islam's wrestling, in my opinion, but how he was able to strike effectively.
I really don't think there's anywhere else you can go with Islam. It's either going to be Ilia Topuria for the money fight, or, I think it's going to be Kamaru Usman. I really believe it's going to be Kamaru Usman because of the fact that they would like to give Kamaru his due. He just beat Buckley. That's one. Two is Islam's chasing the legacy. He wants to fight the guy that has the best record or whatever is the, people consider to be the greatest of all time in the welterweight division. He wants that fight while he can still get it. Then he can fight the other guys. I personally think he's going to end up with the Ilia fight, though, to be honest.
Islam Makhachev is the most boring fighter in the game today. That is correct. Even after he went out there, he beat Jack Della Maddalena. He became a 2-weight division champion. He tied the winning streak of Anderson Silva of 16 wins in a row. And given all that, he's still the most boring fighter in the game. First of all, I just want to say, they're not my words. They are the words of the lightweight champ and the former featherweight champion, Ilia Matador Topuria. Of course, these two don't like one another, and they do seem destined to fight at some stage.